wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. Notice a man. That's in my book, by the way, that I cover that and explain that in a little more detail. And his number is 666. Several years back, I taught a message on the golem, an understanding of the golem. And I brought out just briefly at the end of that message, because I only saw with the light that I had at the time. But I knew there was far more. We think of 666. And there's been so many prognostications and so many things said about the mark of the beast. And we've all heard it, and we've all probably taught it. I mean, I've written scripts on, microchips, and that's real big right now, and all this kind of thing. But when I saw your explanation in your book of this, it was just so staggering to me. You can explain it far better than I. Will you take a few minutes and just give us your understanding of this, because it's going to be so enlightening to so many people. It's Chi, Psi, and Stigma.
They didn't know what these symbols were. So they thought they were Greek symbols. Then they began to evolve into, let's see, what do these symbols really mean? Why would there be 3 Greek symbols into the text? Why would God put 3 Greek symbols as a mystery? Well, God is not an author of mysteries, by the way. His yoke is easy. What they thought were symbols were in reality a different script than even the Greek. God is not interested in gematria. Gematria is the process of adding numerals regarding names. Maybe you take Hillary Clinton. H is number is this, and and then you add it up, see if Hillary Clinton means 666, and maybe she's the beast. Maybe it's Gorbachev, so then Gorbachev, and you add 666. Gematria was a process that was used in witchcraft. God is not interested in this gematria stuff, okay? So this developed, and then the translation started to put down 666 because they thought it was about the gematria. But if you look at the Codex Sinaiticus and the different codexes, they don't have 666. They got these symbols. Some even translated these symbols as 616, but it's not. When I first saw the Codex Vaticanus, I was literally shocked because I could read the text. It was Arabic. And as I look at it, it had
here it is, y'all. Here it is.
What thought these symbols, this and this, in a very kind of circular way, and then you had this symbol. All right? Now, this is an Arabic word. You can film it and ask any Arab, what is that word? Bism, in the name of. And this word, you can ask any Arab what that word is. Bism Allah, in the name of Allah, was on that badge that people put in their foreheads as John documented what he saw on the godly video. God showed him. And that will be the symbol of Islam, which is the 2 swords. That is a symbol in Saudi Arabia. It's a symbol of Islam from the eons of time. As a matter of fact, if you don't want to believe me, I urge you to watch a movie called Kingdom of Heaven. I don't like the movie, the outcome of the movie, that Salah ad-Din was a nice guy and the Crusades were the bad guys and that kind of thing. When he's sitting in a tent talking to the king, you will see at some point in time, pause it, when you see Salah ad-Din and his men with these badges on their arms. Because it says on the right arm, the arm is dexios. Dexios means arm and not specifically hand. The word for mark is charagma, Greek, which means badge of servitude.
Exactly.
It's a literal badge, all right? Made out of paper, etching, cloth, that is put on the forehead, and on it is several things. It could be the name of the beast, the mark of the beast, the multitude of the beast, and being the name of the beast is the Islamic declaration they already put on their foreheads. There is no God but Allah.
Right now, the Bismillah, going back to the name of Allah, on the forehead of believers is a common practice in Shia majority countries. These are the headbands, the headscarves. What you're seeing on these headscarves is the name of Allah, is the name of this God. on their forehead. I want you guys to know that me and Leroy got a ton of objections to this video within the comments about the image of the beast and the mark of the beast being Islamic. We went ahead and answered 10 of the most common objections that we got over on the Kingdom Podcast Patreon. But right here it says the sons of Adonaikim.
Oh wow.
666. Please explain the dimensions of the image in Daniel 3. The Bible says that it is 60 cubits in height and 6 cubits wide. So if you want to go ahead and see that, go ahead and click right here. We will give you our 10 most in-depth explanations as to what actually the image of the beast is. Some of them actually have the Arabic calligraphy, which is the Bismillah, the name of Allah on the hand. Others, there's the forearm, which you were actually showing me, brother, that there was an interesting connection to be made here. Band, do you remember that?
Yeah. I think there's a hadith on it. I think even Waleed Shabat video, he kind of touched on it, but it talks about an armband being would be sort of presented to a believer, a Muslim, who has a multitude of sin and he's unable to get into Jannah. So what would happen is Allah would then say you have one good deed, but and then he would have a badge or some sort of band, and then the individual will put it around his hand, and on the badge would be said something like there is no God but Allah, and this would grant him into heaven. So you can see the same sort of understanding that, and this is why obviously in images like this and Hamas and a lot of these groups that we see on TV and stuff like that, a lot of these extremist group, they have the headbands, they have the armbands, because they are very aware about these hadith and they understand the magnitude of what it is. So when they have it around their wrist and stuff like that, it has a meaning. There's a context behind it.
Which these are commonly used in Islamic countries. You go to Sudan, you go to Libya, you go to Iraq, Iran. Even like, and a lot of this is still, I mean, it's common, but a lot of this is still not super common throughout the Islamic world because the Sunnis are pretty, they're not as radical as the Shias. But when the Antichrist comes onto the scene and the false prophet, we're going to talk about the false prophet, because the Antichrist really is the one where he receives the worship, he receives, the bayat, the pledge, but the false prophet is the one that enforces the mark of the beast. When the false prophet comes onto the scene, he's going to be enforcing this, right?